Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So when you tend to see this beautiful succulent in the pot, you are wondering what a beautiful succulent. It has this beautiful stress colors. It is also putting out a beautiful bloom stalk. Very soon it is going to bloom and you would be pretty happy. Now I'm going to show you something. When you take a closer look at the bloom stalk, it's slightly difficult because the phone is not focusing completely on the bloom stalk. Apart from that, it's really windy, but let me try my best, struggling with the autofocus. Now guys, if you're going to take a closer look at the bloom stalk, you will notice something. So yes, we have some unwanted visitors on our succulents. They have decided to visit our bloom stalk. Now these unwanted visitors are not friendly at all. They are gonna harm your succulents. So what are these guys? Now these are called as aphids. They come in different colors. They come in green, red, white, as well as black and darker in color. Now guys, these tend to multiply really quick. You can see the amount of aphids on this particular bunch. They tend to multiply really fast, and due to which it's very difficult to control them. Now you can see the amount of aphids. They tend to suck up on all of the juice from the bloom stalk. Now if you're going to leave the aphids as it is, once they're done with the bloom stalk, they will slowly start coming down to your succulents, because you know succulents are full of juice, are full of water. They have a lot of nutrients that is stored in their leaves, and this becomes an amazing party place for these guys. So now what we have to do is quickly get rid of the bloom stalk, because it's no longer needed, especially when it has been infected with aphids like this. Now guys, you have to be extremely careful because these guys can jump as well. They will immediately jump to the other succulent, especially once they are done with sucking up all of the juice from this particular bloom stalk. If you have another succulent that is blooming, and if you notice that one of the bloom stalk has already got infected with aphids, immediately cut it off so that it does not spread. And ensure that your blade, knife and scissor is completely sterilized before you cut off the bloom stalk. Now unfortunately, cinnamon powder will not work for aphids because they are very stubborn pest. So your cinnamon powder is not going to work out. However, you can always use cinnamon powder as precaution in the soil, but when it tends to attack, or if your succulent has already been infected with aphids, the best way is to cut off the bloom stalk. Now over here, you have to be extremely careful. Please do not throw this bloom stalk in your garden, because by doing so, it's like adding fuel to fire, because these aphids will rapidly start spreading everywhere in your garden. And especially if you have a lot of flowering plants, then God save you, because they are going to attack every bloom in your garden. So over here, before I discard this, what I tend to usually do is I add a good amount of hand sanitizer so that I can completely kill them. You can either use hand sanitizer or rubbing alcohol, spray it on the bloom stalk. It's always better to cut the bloom stalk first and then put it on a tray and spray it with rubbing alcohol, or you can use hand sanitizer, or you can even use some soap and vinegar water. Try to kill them before you throw it out, because you know it might even spread in the other places. Probably your neighbors might get affected with aphids, so you do not want to do that. You have to be a good neighbor. Don't just throw it or toss it into your neighbor's garden, because their garden is also going to get infected with aphids. So what I usually tend to do is I completely soak the bloom stalk in the hand sanitizer, and I let the bloom stalk be in this for maybe 10 to 15 minutes, or as long as the hand sanitizer is present, because within a couple of minutes the hand sanitizer will get vaporized. So I leave it in it, and after that I either tie it up in a bag, or probably cover it up with paper and then discard it off. But ensure that you do not throw it anywhere closer to any of the plants. If you want, you can even just put it into the fire so that it's completely dead and it does not spread. So you have to be extremely careful with these guys. They are really small. It's very difficult to get a glance of them, because usually we don't realize when we tend to see the succulents, and they usually tend to hide in between the bloom stalks, between the leaves. It becomes slightly difficult. So over here now I'm done with cutting off the bloom stalk. Now if you want, you can always do bottom watering. If you feel that your succulent is dehydrated, there is no harm in watering, but ensure that the water does not fall on the succulent as well as the bloom stalk that we have just cut. You have to be extremely careful, and it's always better to just brush off the succulent once you're done with this, because the aphids are still present on the leaves. Again, I have taken the succulent to the corner of my balcony where I do not have any plants, and I have just brushed them off, because definitely you cannot use hand sanitizer on the succulent. You cannot spray it with hand sanitizer on the succulent. So the best option is to do a dry brush. Take a soft bristled makeup and do a quick dry brush so that you get rid. Now guys, there are no aphids in this. I've already brushed it off. I'm just showing you guys how to do it, because I took the pot closer to the balcony and I just brushed it off. Don't brush the aphids again in the garden, because again they would spread. So do it away from your plants, away from your garden. Just do a gentle brush and get rid of all the aphids. Now my succulent is completely clean. I do not have any aphids. I will do a cinnamon powder. I will add some cinnamon powder in the soil just for precaution. If you want, you can do bottom watering, but ensure that you do not water on the succulent, because the cut is still fresh. You have to wait for at least 2 or 3 days if you want to water the soil from above, but you can definitely do bottom watering. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.